You're at your job right now, or you just got home from it. Either way, you traded hours of your life today for a paycheck, and that paycheck is the whole reason you showed up. Fair enough, that's the deal. But here's what nobody in HR explained to you on day one. Buried somewhere in that onboarding packet you skimmed past, between the dental plan and the parking policy, your employer made you an offer, a real one, not a vague promise about growth opportunities or a pizza party, an actual concrete offer. They said, put money into your retirement account and we will literally hand you free money on top of it. Not a raffle, not a bonus you have to earn by hitting some impossible sales target, a guaranteed dollar-for-dollar match on a chunk of your paycheck, just sitting there waiting for you to take it. And you probably aren't. About half of workers who have access to a 401k either don't contribute enough to get the full match or don't contribute at all. That's not a rounding error. That's tens of millions of people leaving thousands of dollars a year on the table. Not hypothetical money, not future projected gains on a spreadsheet. Real money from your employer's budget, earmarked with your name on it, that you are choosing not to pick up. And the wildest part, it's not because people don't want free money. Of course they want free money. It's because the whole system was designed to be just confusing enough that most people shrug and say, I'll figure it out later. You got hired, you sat through orientation, someone mentioned a 401k, you nodded, and then you went to your desk and never thought about it again. Later turns into next year turns into 5 years, 5 years turns into a decade, and that decade of skipped matches, it doesn't just disappear quietly, it compounds in the wrong direction. So today, we're going to break down what a 401k match actually is, how it works mechanically, what it's really costing you to skip it, and how to start capturing it even if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Because this isn't about retirement planning in some abstract, think about it when you're 60 sense. This is about money that exists right now, today, that belongs to you, if you go get it. Let's strip this down to how it actually functions, because the jargon around 401k plans is intentionally dense. It's like a tutorial that explains the controls, but conveniently skips the part where you learn how to actually win. Your employer offers a 401k. That's a retirement account tied to your job. You tell your company, take X% of my paycheck before taxes and put it into this account. That money gets invested, usually into a handful of funds you pick from a menu. You might recognize some names. You probably won't recognize most of them. That's okay for now. Simple enough so far. Now, here's where the match comes in. Your employer says, for every dollar you put in, we'll also put in $1, up to a certain percentage of your salary. The most common setup you'll see is a dollar-for-dollar match up to 6%, meaning if you earn $50,000 a year and you contribute 6%, that's $3,000, your employer also drops $3,000 into your account. You just doubled your money before it even hit the market. No stock pick, no gamble, no timing the dip, just a straight up 100% return on day one. Some companies structure it differently. 50 cents on the dollar up to 6%. A dollar for dollar up to 3%, then 50 cents from 3 to 5. The formulas vary, but the core mechanic is always the same. You put money in, they put money in. You don't put money in, they put in nothing, zero. The loot is sitting right there in the room and you walked past it. And that's the part that kills me. The match isn't automatic. It's not like a cost of living adjustment that just shows up in your direct deposit one day. You have to opt in. You have to actively choose to contribute, and you have to contribute enough to trigger the full match. If your company matches up to 6% and you're only putting in 3%, you're capturing half the free money. The other half just doesn't happen. Your employer keeps it. They budgeted it for you, shrugged when you didn't claim it, and moved on with their quarterly report. Nobody sends you a reminder. Nobody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, you left $3,000 on the table this year. It just quietly doesn't exist. Now, quick asterisk, and this one actually matters. There's something called a vesting schedule. Some companies don't let you keep the matched money immediately. They release it over time, maybe 20% a year over 5 years, or maybe it's a cliff where you get nothing until year 3, and then the whole thing unlocks at once. The money your employer matches might not be fully yours until you've been at the company long enough to satisfy the schedule. So does that mean you shouldn't contribute? Absolutely not, because the money you put in is always yours, 100% on day one. And even partial vesting means you're still capturing free money, just on a delay. If you're 2 years in and 40% vested, that's still 40% more than zero. Check your plan documents, ask HR directly, find out your vesting timeline. But don't let a vesting schedule become your excuse to contribute nothing, because that math never works out in your favor, ever. We covered compound interest back in the Investing Basics episode, how money grows on top of itself over time, turning small amounts into surprisingly large ones if you give them enough runway. That same principle applies here, except you're compounding with a built-in head start. Every matched dollar compounds right alongside yours from the moment it hits your account. It's not just free money today, it's free money that makes more money for the next 30 or 40 years. Your employer's contribution is literally generating wealth for you while you sleep. So that's the mechanic. You contribute, they contribute, it all grows together in the same pot. But understanding how it works isn't the thing that changes behavior. Plenty of people understand how the match works and still don't contribute. What actually changes behavior is understanding what it costs you to skip it. And that number is a lot uglier than you think. Here's where it gets genuinely painful. I need you to stay with me through the math, because this is the part that should make you angry. You're 25. You make $50,000 a year. Your company matches dollar for dollar up to 6%. You decide, I can't afford to put 6% away right now. I've got rent, I've got a car payment. Groceries somehow cost twice what they did 3 years ago. Student loans are sitting there staring at me. I'll start contributing next year when things calm down. That 1 year of skipping the match, that's $3,000 your employer would have given you. Gone. 3 grand. Stings, but it feels survivable. Except that $3,000, if it had been invested and left alone in a broad market index fund, wouldn't just sit there, it would grow. At historically average returns of around 7% after inflation, that single year of skipped match money, just $3,000, turns into roughly $23,000 by the time you're 65. $23,000 from one single year of saying, I'll get to it later. And you won't feel it. That's the trap. Nothing bad happens the day you skip the match. No alarm goes off, your paycheck doesn't shrink, your bank account looks exactly the same. You just quietly lost $23,000 of future wealth, and the only evidence is a retirement account balance that's lower than it should be, decades from now, when it's way too late to fix it. Now do that for 5 years. You skip the match from 25 to 30 because you keep telling yourself you'll start when you make more money, when the car is paid off, when things settle down. Things never settle down. That's not how life works. There's just the next bill and the next decision. But what does settle down, quietly, permanently, is the compounding clock. Every year you wait, you lose a year of growth on the back end. And the back end years are where the real money lives. The difference between starting at 25 and starting at 30 isn't 5 years of contributions. It's 5 years of exponential growth at the tail end of the curve, where your money is doubling every 10 years. Those are the most valuable years in your entire financial timeline, and they're the ones you're cutting off. 5 years of skipped matches at $3,000 per year is $15,000 your employer tried to hand you. But the real damage isn't the $15,000, it's the compounding you missed. Those 5 years of matches, invested at 7%, would have grown to somewhere around $85,000 to $90,000 by the time you retire. $90,000, not from your savings, not from your side hustle, from your employer's pocket redirected into your retirement account, compounding for decades. All you had to do was fill out a form on your company's benefits website and type in a number. And here's the thing that makes this worse. You can't go back for it. This isn't like a coupon that expired where you can call customer service and ask for an exception. There's no retroactive match. The match you didn't take in 2024 is gone. The match you didn't take in 2023 is gone. Every year you waited is permanently off the table. You can increase contributions going forward, but you can't make up for matches you never triggered. The window opens and then it closes. I know what you're thinking. I literally cannot afford to put away 6% of my paycheck right now. That's real, and we're going to talk about exactly how to handle it next. But sit with these numbers first. People don't skip the match because they did the math and decided it wasn't worth it. They skip it because they never saw the math. The system buries it in plan documents written by lawyers for other lawyers, and most people never get past page 1. Opportunity cost in its purest, cruelest form. You're not losing money out of your bank account today. Nothing gets withdrawn, nothing bounces. You're losing money that would have existed. Real, spend it on whatever you want money if you'd made one different decision years ago. And the brutal trick of opportunity cost is that it's completely invisible while it's happening. There's no notification, no overdraft alert, no red banner on your phone. The money just quietly never exists, and you never know what you walked away from. Until right now. Because now you've seen the numbers and you can't unsee them. So you've seen what the match is worth, and what skipping it actually costs you over a lifetime. But here's the part that nobody tells you. Most people who are contributing to their 401k are still doing it wrong. There's a specific, fixable mistake hiding inside your contribution setup that's silently costing you thousands of dollars a year, and it takes about 10 minutes to correct. Let's get into it. Here's the mistake, and it's embarrassingly common. You got the message, you heard contribute to your 401k, felt responsible, logged into your benefits portal, and set your contribution to 3%. Maybe 4%, felt good about it, moved on with your life. But your employer matches up to 6%. You're currently capturing half the match. Every single paycheck, your company is ready to hand you money, and you're only taking a portion of it. The rest doesn't go to some other employee. It doesn't roll over into next year's budget for you. It just vanishes from your financial future. Your employer keeps it, or more accurately, they just never move it. Nobody sends you a notification. Nobody flags it in your annual review. It's just gone. This is the contribution trap. People here contribute to your 401k and think any amount means they're doing the right thing. And yeah, something is better than nothing. Contributing 3% is objectively better than contributing 0. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but better than nothing is a dangerously low bar when the full match is sitting right there, and the gap between what you're contributing and what you could be capturing represents thousands of dollars a year in lost free money. Think of it this way. If your boss sent you an email that said, "I'm approving a $3,000 raise for you this year. Just reply yes to confirm it." Would you reply? Obviously, immediately. You wouldn't think about it. You definitely wouldn't say, I'll take $1,500 of the raise and leave the other half on the table. That's insane. But that's exactly what's happening when you contribute below the match threshold. Your employer has already said yes to giving you that money. The only person who hasn't said yes is you. So step 1, and I mean today, not when I get a chance, not this weekend, not on January 1st, is to find out your company's exact match formula. It's in your benefits portal. It's in that onboarding packet you shoved in a desk drawer 6 months ago. If you can't find it, call HR directly and ask, what is our 401k match formula? And what percentage do I need to contribute to get the full match? That's the question. One sentence, get the number. Then set your contribution to at least that percentage. But I seriously cannot afford 6% right now. Okay, let's talk about this honestly, because I refuse to do the thing where finance channels pretend that money isn't tight for most people watching. Rent is high, groceries are expensive. 6% of your paycheck is real money. If you make $40,000 a year, 6% is $200 a month. When you're stretching every dollar, that's serious. But here's what people consistently miss, and this is genuinely important. The contribution is pre-tax. That $200 a month doesn't reduce your take-home pay by the full $200. It reduces your taxable income first, which means you owe less in federal taxes and less in state taxes. Depending on your bracket, that $200 contribution might only cost you $150, maybe $160 in actual take-home pay. The tax savings close a real part of the gap. You're not losing $200 from your spending money, you're losing less than that, and the rest is coming back to you in the form of a lower tax bill every paycheck. And if even that feels too steep right now, fine, start where you are. Put in 2%. That's it, just 2%. Then every single time you get a raise, annual review, promotion, cost of living adjustment, new job, whatever, bump your contribution by 1%. You won't feel the increase because the raise covers it. Your take-home pay either stays the same or still goes up slightly, but your 401k contribution keeps climbing in the background. Within 2 or 3 years, you're at the full match threshold, and you got there without ever once cutting your lifestyle. You never had to cancel a subscription or skip a meal or white-knuckle through a week wondering if you can make it to payday. You just redirected money you hadn't started spending yet. Some companies even have an auto-escalation feature built right into their plan. You set it once, choose a 1% annual increase, and your contribution automatically ratchets up every year until it hits whatever cap you set. If your plan offers this, turn it on right now, today. Let the system do the discipline so you don't have to remember to manually change it every year. Automating good decisions is the single best financial hack nobody talks about enough. The match percentage isn't a suggestion, it's a flaw. Everything below it is compensation you're voluntarily declining. And you wouldn't email your boss and ask to be paid less, so stop telling your benefits portal the same thing. So, now you've hit the match. You're contributing 6%, your employer is matching 6%, 12% total is flowing into your 401k every year. That's a genuinely solid foundation. You're already ahead of most people your age just by doing that. But now what? Because the 401k, for all its benefits, has some real limitations once you're past the matched portion, and pretending otherwise would be doing you a disservice. The fund options inside most employer-sponsored plans are fine. They're serviceable. They'll get the job done, but they're often loaded with management fees and expense ratios that are higher than what you'd pay if you invested on your own. Some plans charge expense ratios north of 1%. That doesn't sound like much. 1%, who cares? But 1% of your balance every single year, compounding over a 30-year career, can eat tens of thousands of dollars in returns you'll never see. It's a slow, invisible leak. The ship still floats, but it's been taking on water the whole time, and you won't notice until you look at what your balance could have been. Once you've captured the full match, every dollar you contribute beyond that threshold is your money going in without a bonus attached. There's no matching on the extra. It's still tax advantaged. Your contributions reduce your taxable income, but the guaranteed 100% return is gone. And at that point, you need to seriously ask, is my 401k the best home for this next dollar, or is there somewhere better it could go? For most people in this audience, the answer is a Roth IRA. The contribution limit is smaller, $7,000 a year at current levels, but the growth inside the account is completely tax-free, and you never pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement, ever. Compare that to your 401k, where every dollar you pull out gets taxed as regular income at whatever rate exists when you retire. Nobody knows what tax rates will look like in 30 or 40 years, but I can tell you they're probably not going down. A Roth lets you lock in today's tax rate and never think about it again. Now, there are income limits on Roth IRA contributions. If you're making above a certain threshold, currently around $150,000 for single filers, you start getting phased out. But if you're watching this channel and you're in the income range we typically talk about, you're almost certainly under the limit. And even if you're close, there are workarounds like the backdoor Roth conversion, which is a conversation for another day. The point is, for most of you, the Roth is wide open and waiting. So the priority stack looks like this, and the order matters. It's not random, it's ranked by the return on every dollar you put in. First, contribute to your 401k up to the full employer match. This is the single highest return financial move available to you. It's a guaranteed 100% return before the market even touches your money. Nothing else in personal finance comes close to that. Second, if you have room in your budget after capturing the match, fund a Roth IRA up to the annual maximum. Tax-free growth for the rest of your life. We did a full breakdown of how the Roth works and why it's so powerful. It's one of the most important accounts you can open. Third, If you still have money to invest after maxing the Roth, and genuinely, congratulations if you're in that position, go back to the 401k and push your contributions higher, or open a regular taxable brokerage account for more flexibility and no withdrawal restrictions. Each tier is good, all of them build wealth, but the tiers are not equal, and doing them out of order means you're leaving returns on the table at every step. One more thing before we close out. When you log into your 401k and stare at the list of investment options, do not overthink it. Pick a target date fund that roughly matches when you plan to retire, or pick a broad total market index fund with low fees. Don't try to be a stock picker inside your retirement account. The menu wasn't designed for active trading. The options are limited, and a cheap index fund tracking the total stock market is going to beat the vast majority of the other choices in your plan over a 20 or 30-year horizon. Set it and leave it alone. Check it once a year if you want. The best retirement strategy is boring, and boring wins. Drop a comment with where you're at right now. What percentage are you contributing to your 401k? 0? 3? Maxing it out? No judgment either way. Knowing where people are starting from makes these conversations a lot more useful for everybody watching. You showed up to work today. You traded your time for money. That's the deal you made, and you'll make it again tomorrow, and the day after that. But there's a second deal sitting on the table, one your employer already agreed to, and it doesn't require you to work a single extra hour. No side hustle, no performance review, no awkward salary negotiation. It just requires you to say yes to a form in your benefits portal, pick a percentage that matches what your company is willing to give you, and let time do what time does. The 401k match is the simplest financial win most people will ever have access to, and it's the one they're most likely to ignore. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, because the system buried it under jargon and paperwork and legalese and never once said in plain language, this is real money, it is yours, and every year you wait costs you more than you think. Now you've seen the numbers, now you know what later actually costs. And the best part is, this isn't one of those financial moves that requires expertise or timing or luck. It doesn't care about the stock market today or what the Fed is doing this quarter. It's just a form, a percentage, and a decision to stop leaving your own money on someone else's balance sheet. So go log in, find your match, and take what's yours. Stack smart.